The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, Heckma Harrison, and Newey Scruggs.
Players Lounge.
What's happening?
Right here on a Monday, back in business. Final show here of Black History Month.
I ain't even been working out.
For Amigo Negroes. Strongman.
Oh, you
yeah,
know, got creatine.
You seen
You trying to flex on Birdie? Yeah,
the In-Shape Brothers are the players.
Bathroom over there.
I be seeing you getting your morning workout.
that's true.
Did
Did
you wait
you
for
do your
the spin class, baby?
Bathrooms over there.
Hercules.
Yes, sir.
Hercules Barry Church is here in the house. We're glad to conversate with him before he hits the links here. We got Heckma Harrison in the house. Appreciate you being here. And the national champion he is. Danny McCray, I'm Newey Scruggs.
Don't run up on him. Don't run up on him. Whatever you do.
Don't run up on him.
At camp, don't run up on this man. Hey,
Don't run up on him.
letting you know. Don't do it.
It's crazy. It's
Please
crazy
don't.
out here. boy.
Please
Crazy
don't.
out here.
We don't take it that serious. Look, you know, we got a different demographic out here.
That's facts, man. Yes.
We don't see too much of that, and we got security.
Man, that's crazy. See, that's the problem.
Cam Newton videos, what they're referencing yesterday. Hey, look, stop messing with them West Atlanta boys.
Man,
Cam Newton, Pac-Man Jones, they ready.
They ready.
They are ready. They are ready for you. But I'll never understand people that want to challenge former athletes in public to duels. It's just not smart.
No.
That, and I tell you the other thing too. I grew up because my dad was in the military. I grew up on a post. I don't mess with nobody been in the Army, especially people been in those units.
Oh, no, I ain't
Like the Rangers, 82nd Airborne Navy. These are trained killers.
I think they can handle themselves.
Right. Like, you don't know. I don't care how. Oh, my dad's 70 years old. I don't know what he knows. Yeah. I don't mess with no trained killers, man.
And they don't quit.
Nah.
Because
Until it's done.
A win is not a win.
It's
not a win.
Hey, you can't just do this.
Ain't none of that. You tired. You tired. You got to
Ain't no referee coming to save.
I got you to choke on you.
Fight for an hour. Hey, man, I'm tired.
Ain't no time.
I'm right on time. No. We're too late for the song.
Man, I'm telling you what, though, that hurt me, man. I didn't like to see that. And I don't like to see when athletes like you guys go back to your respective neighborhoods, are supporting the neighborhood, being visible, giving athletes, young athletes, an opportunity. And these are the environment that's being set. Now, I don't know the entire story. I don't know if Cam was out there handling those guys. I don't know. But all I'm saying is it's not a good look when you have a guy of Cam's stature that is supporting the youth, doing what he's doing, and it turns into that. And I don't know what's happening, man, with youth athletics, period, where we're having events like this. I mean, we had something very tragic happen here a couple years ago with a shooting on a Pee Wee League field. You know, it's just, come on now. You can't be taking this stuff this serious, man. It's crazy. And it's not. And you don't get guys like Barry Church and Danny McCray to come to your neighborhood and support your kids when you got that kind of stuff going on.
I think the main part that's happening here is parents, who most of the time have been the issue, they just continue to forget that it is about the kids and the young folks, right? Like if Cam Newton decides hey man, it's over, right? So all the kids that paid to go out there, you know what I'm saying, and get up whatever type of spotlight they wanted to get, whatever type of notoriety that they're trying to get to college, all of a sudden that's over with. Not a parent who is no longer your time to get recruited or have that opportunity. Now you taking it away from the kid, and I think that is the biggest thing that's happened. Like, parents are out of control. Like if I'm hosting something like that, I'm almost telling, hey, parents, you can't come and one coach per team.
Yeah, it is.
Just one. You don't need your whole crew out there because you see what happens. Dude get attacked by 2-3 people, right? Because they all feel
Is that
like
what you called it? He got attacked. I mean, it looked like he was swatting flies.
Yeah. For legal purposes, he got attacked.
He got attacked. Yeah. And that was what happened. But
it's crazy.
And don't run up on nobody, man.
Church, when your little ones start playing, you'll get a whole lot too, man. I stand on another side of the field or sit somewhere across the gym away from people. I just do it, man, because I don't say anything. I just don't want to hear people say anything.
They get crazy.
Oh, they was in South Lake?
No, man.
Okay, I didn't think so. There wasn't no Walmart inside. Target.
Why you gotta be like that?
Turn, you go to church, ain't going to the hood.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Where we going?
You're not even from here. You're from
Let's talk
Pittsburgh.
about the Cowboys. And the Combine's coming up.
Oak Cliff Cowboys. Very church.
Give you a video. I give you one of these. You send that out to you real quick.
Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Cowboys, and defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer
Go Dragons.
are not going to the Combine. So Sean McVay of the Los Angeles Rams has also decided not to go to the Combine for a second straight year. Mike McCarthy saying with the new defensive changes, he can get more work done back at the Star. So McCarthy not going. Defense coordinator not going. I'll go around the room. Start with you, Barry Church. Your thoughts?
I understand it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of hype behind the Combine, and I get it. You get to see, some of the measurables, the 40, the vert, and all that good stuff. But what confuses me about the Combine is how do people move up and down draft boards by getting evaluated with T-shirts and shorts on? Like, when are you on the football field running a straight line for 40 yards? Like, that to me, I understand the L drill and the short shuttle because that's quickness. That's a slot receiver. They need to show how they can get in and out of breaks. And I get all that. And maybe even the quarterbacks throwing, but there's no pass rush. There's no people in your way. You're not going to see that in the National Football League. You're not going to see it at all. So I understand some things about the Combine, the interviews. You get to see these guys one-on-one. They really pick their brain and how intelligent they are when it comes to understanding concepts as far as football is concerned. But when you talk about, evaluating a player, I feel like you got to look at that tape. And that's what I feel like McCarthy's doing. He's not going to be, at the Combine. He's going to be looking at tape, getting his defensive, crew all together and breaking down the people that he thinks can make this defense better. And I think that's the right path to go about it. When you go into this Combine, you may be able to see this guy. He's fast. But how many times have we seen a guy run a 4.26 and when he gets on the football field, it looks like he runs a 4.7 or a 4.6? I mean, to me, there's too much hype involved with the Combine, and I don't see how people move up and down leaderboards or draft boards based on performing in shorts and T-shirts when you're not going to do that on the football field.
There's too many mistakes that can be made when you go off of just what a guy does at the scouting combine and you don't do your due diligence and look at the tape. And I think Will McClay and his scouting department are definitely going to do that. And for Mike McCarthy at this point, and man, it's sad to say, that he's coaching for his job. He's doing everything that he possibly can to not have that be a deterrent or interfere him from what he has to do. Because honestly, they have to fix this running game. They have to fix this running defense. They know what they have in front of them, and they're not going to go off of how many Twitter followers a guy has, a viral moment in him training, and so many guys have moved up the leaderboard or have been, drafted because of those just intangibles that have nothing to do with playing on Sunday or playing football. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, the elite guys, they skip the camp altogether anyway, so you're not going to see any of them. Mm-hmm. And I think for the scouting department, especially when you're talking about that 3 through 7 mix, you want to get an opportunity to touch these guys, see them in the classroom, understand who they are, because you're only looking at the product on the field. You don't know if this guy's a knucklehead or what he is, So, look, I agree with you. It's for the most part, the Combine is just about being able to see these athletes and not so much the numbers itself.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for maybe like third round and under, like guys who you may have watched the film and you don't really get a feel of how fast he is, and you may think he's a 4.7, but then to get out there and run a 4.4, you're like, oh, that's the guy. Okay. But there's a group of guys who probably it doesn't help them as much. The guy who you already expect to run a 4.2, who can only go out there and run a 4.4, and then all of a sudden you like he not as fast as he was. So I think it's more of a meet and greet type of thing. I think the most important part is those interviews and those questions where you're trying to get a feel for what type of person this guy is, especially the first round guys who you're going to spend a lot of money on. You want to know, like, hey, in a room, do I get a good vibe from this person, right? Based off whatever question I'm going to ask him. And sometimes I do think it gets a little outlandish with some of the questions that we hear come out of the Combine. But it's like as far as like the straightforward questions where you're trying to figure out who this person is, get a chance to talk to him, pull him to the side, figure out like what drives him, what type of family life, all that type of stuff. I think that's very important. But the performance thing is, like our pro day, you got film, you got a whole bunch of other stuff that if a guy goes out there and run a 4.7, he's likely going to go to pro day and run a 4.4.
Exactly.
That's just the thing.
So Mike McCarthy will participate via Zoom, so he'll be able to be a part of the interviews when they bring in prospects, but he's just not. He's just not going up there. And I agree with what everyone is saying here about these. If you're and Will McClay, one of the best in the National Football League, I think it's a piece of the puzzle. That's all. I think that's all it's ever supposed to have been. Here's a little bit of piece of the puzzle, and this is just one more thing we get to kind of look at. But I do believe the media aspect of what this is now, for those that want to make the NFL a 24/7 business, and we've got more folks than ever in the media now who are aggregating stories. So you got to have something to talk about, something to write about. Oh, so-and-so now moving up here. Or when Byron Jones, who played with the Cowboys, when he had that incredible combine and people that moved him up, it was something to write about. Hey, let's look at this guy from UConn. He's shooting up draft boards. This is the stuff that people who love the NFL right now, they consume it because there's nothing else to consume.
That's facts.
And we're watching NFL Get Up Football, Good Morning Football. Their whole thing right now, how harsh will the 49ers hangover be? Super Bowl. We play Super Bowl. We over. This is their lead segment. But this is what it is right now. People are desperate. So it's talking about the combine. It's talking about free agency. It's talking about the salary cap went up. It's not real football.
Yeah.
And so that's how we find ourselves in the weeds. Because we're not talking about. But look how fast he was. Yeah. Oh, he's strong. Did you see that bench press? Oh, he's strong like bull.
Exactly. Look, I don't know how much this affected the draft board, but look at C.J. Stroud. Was it last year when they said, "Oh man, he had one of the worst test scores or whatever it is in the national, the Wonder Look, whatever." He can't understand. And he goes out there. It has one of the best rookie seasons there is. I bet you the Carolina Panthers would have been like, "Man, I wish we'd have took C.J. Stroud." It's just things like that. It's just like, man, what why bring a guy down?
Terrible Wonder Look school.
Yeah.
Terrible. But anybody turning, you got too young. But somebody turn on the tape from Pitt. Yeah. Through lasers. What do you go to the NFL do? Through lasers.
Just balling.
It's supposed, all of this, in my opinion, is supposed to be a piece. And like any amounts of information you get, just like if you're studying for it, you get all this information. You go and find the stuff that you feel is important. This is what I think will help. And then you take the other stuff and you throw it out. That's how you make decisions. You're going to get all this information, especially now analytically. We got so much stuff. We could look at all right, so Bill Walsh had a great grading system. You had to run a certain number for him, or you could not be a receiver in the San Francisco 49ers. That was his organization. You had to be a certain height. Then you 5'7", 5'8", then you couldn't play for him. He wanted to have receivers that were 6'1". You had to run a certain 40. And I think there's nothing wrong with that if you're developing what type of team you want.
Yeah. But Bill Walsh was smart enough to go to Mississippi Valley State and see a guy run a 4.9 and say, "That's all right, we'll take it." Jerry Rice. Sometimes, and I think it's not a one size fits all, and that's why I think film study is so important. And when we talk about the combine and analytics, how it plays into it now. And just specifically the Cowboys, they can't get caught up in that, man. They have to find guys that, especially in this draft, that can hit the ground running. Straight off the bus dude. He coming right now. We know he's going to be a day one guy. And those are the hardest guys to pick, I think, when you're especially looking at the guys out of the combine.
Oh, we know. I will say this. I don't mind him not being there. I know how to answer the question. I think him and Zimmer do need to get on the same page about how they're, because that's a big change going from Quinn to Zimmer and figuring out the culture and letting them know this is how things go and this player thinks this way. This is how he reacts to whatever. I think that you can get a lot of good information from them spending this time together versus being out there at the combine.
Let's kind of go around the room and talk about that. So what we've seen from a guy like Zimmer, he likes bigger defensive tackles. And then when it comes to linebackers, he places a bigger emphasis on linebackers. I think much more so than what DQ had here. The kind of linebackers that like Keanu O'Neal is not a guy that Zimmer has been using in the past. So I think that's a very important thing you talk about, Barry and Danny, and let's get Heckman here and go around the room.
You good, dude. You good.
Got through that, dog.
Let's get this here because everybody brings it together.
That boy good.
We'll start with you, Heckman. What do you think happens at the linebacker spot? Because I just think right out the top of my head, when I think about Zimmer, between Dallas, Cincinnati, and Minnesota, the linebackers he used a little bit different than what we saw from DK.
If I'm Zim, I'm looking at that. I look no further than that Buffalo game. If I'm talking about the linebackers, if I'm basing anything, I'm looking at what happened in that Buffalo game and the way that they were able to run the ball and how we saw some of our linebackers getting drugged down the field. And we can't go with the hybrid approach. We need a guy that is a true 4-3 linebacker or a true 3-4 linebacker. Guys that can be in the middle of the field, guys that can rotate also and go maybe over to the Will or the Sam, depending on how he's going to use Micah. But yeah, he's going to go with a bigger guy. I think Eric Kendricks that played for the Vikings, man, one of my favorite linebackers, was a dog. Maybe not as tall as you would like for your linebacker, but stout, 244, something like that. But a guy that was a dog against the run, a guy that didn't give any space. All we need right now is guys that are coming downhill, guys that are filling those gaps. We need D tackles. When you talk about bigger defensive tackles, guys that can hold their own and not allow those tight ends and those tackles to shed and get downhill on our defense, which we saw that a lot. And that just pretty much nullified guys like Marquise Bell that was playing out of position already once offensive coordinators kind of figured out what Dan Quinn wanted to do.
Yeah, when I think about Zimmer and his type of defenses, you look at, like a guy like Anthony Barr when he was in his heyday, big old linebacker in the middle, just kind of being able to handle those offensive linemen that may kind of sneak up to him. You look at a guy like Linval Joseph, those defensive tackles he had over there in Minnesota. And to me, I don't think you'll see, like in Quinn's system, you've seen a lot of 3 safeties. You've seen a lot of packages where, they had 2 safeties, Hooker, Dono, and then you had Curse, patrolling the box. I don't think you'll see a lot of that. I think you'll see 2 traditional safeties, and they'll have those athletic linebackers that are bigger body that can handle the run, but also be productive in pass coverage as well. I think, Bell is outstanding when you talk about a guy, third down coverage, maybe needs to cover one of those running backs or cover those tight ends. I think that's the perfect role for him coming in on third down, coming in on passing type situations. But an everyday first, second down type of back, I just don't see that because you caught up to us in the playoffs. When they figured he was going to be in there, we're going to run straight at this guy. And it caught up to the Cowboys at the worst situation. So to me, you have the pieces that you can kind of plug and play with as far as Zimmer is concerned, but you got to get those mainstay pieces that'll be there first, second, and third down to handle that run situation.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Zimmer's going to have to focus on, us as a Cowboys organization, is depth at the linebacker spot, because I think that's what got us last season. Yeah. I think you go into it and you're looking at the offseason and you're saying, okay, Van Der Esch is coming back, you got Overshawn, you're looking at Clark, and that's what you're looking at going into the season, and then you lose Overshawn, and then you lose Van Der Esch, and now instead of being able to bring guys in, which they did try to, you have to go with a guy like Marquise Bell. So I think having that depth, knowing that you do have 2 of those guys coming back with a Clark and the Overshawn, hopefully Overshawn comes back off the injury healthy and ready to go, but that depth at that linebacker position that wants to help Zimmer play the type of defense that he wants to play is going to be really important.
And that's why free agency is so important. They have to make a mark in free agency.
They say they're going all in. When we come back, what does going all in mean to everyone? What does that mean to you, and what do you want to see? We'll dive into that next, right on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Tostitos, right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss Retail Stores. #Be your own boss.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together, we cry together, and we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Register now for the 2024 Dallas Cowboy Youth Camp presented by Invisalign. Athletes of all skill levels, ages 6 to 16, are invited to learn from the best this summer at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Football camps are led by former NFL players, and dance camps are taught by current Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Register before May 17th to save $25. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps.
And, of course, when you talk about the camps, that means our man Danny McCray running things.
I'm running things.
That's right. 2024. Yeah, we see y'all this summer.
Yeah,
y'all got time. Y'all got time.
Jeez.
A little bit of time. Well, y'all got time. No, we only have 7 this year, so
Only 7.
Not that many opportunities. So y'all go ahead and get signed up.
All right.
right.
Danny McCray, former Dallas Cowboy. Got Heckma Harrison here. You got Barry Church,
Yes,
former
sir.
Dallas Cowboy. I'm Newey Scruggs. This is a Players Lounge brought to you by Tostitos. So Jerry Jones, the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, a Hall of Famer, said going all in. Going all in.
Got to see it.
Yeah, man. You know, that's easy to say.
Yeah.
And until he explains what all in means to him, I don't know. All in could be, hey, we re-signed Dak Prescott, and we got CeeDee Lamb, and here's Tyron Smith back. You know, that in his mind that could be all in to him. I think all in to other people is we see some free agents. We need to see a big draft haul. We need to see some key players resign. I mean, it's everything.
So you saying he possibly went all in last year? Because we did Brandon Cooks, we got Gilmore,
Zach Martin got
we had
back.
Zach Martin. Like, you know, Tyron was back. TP got 10. You know, healthy coming out. So you saying that could possibly be what all in is?
That's what it did for him. I mean,
You drafted a defensive tackle in the first round.
Tight end.
This is going to
that's
be
a
the
tight
beauty
end.
of what do we hear from him at the combine and Steve? What does that mean? You know, I need to know. What does it mean?
Can't we just say that it's levels to all in? There's levels to it. All right. And our MO on all in has been getting guys that have been stars in the NFL that kind of not past their prime, but past their prime.
Yeah.
Okay. We hadn't seen any, we're going to trade a first-round draft pick to go get this guy. And I won't mention anybody because they'll say
You did for
Tampa.
Amari Cooper?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And I think
that wasn't the beginning of the season.
No, but it was
halfway,
needed.
yeah.
No, I'm saying
But it was needed.
so going into the season, you wasn't like I'm going all in. They was like, ooh, hold on.
Oh, they went in there with
We like our guys.
yeah.
Alan Hearns.
So
and the crew.
like starting the season off, I don't think we've seen
We
that.
like our guys. Sanchez got him playing with bricks.
I just don't see them going and making these huge splashes in free agency. I mean, when's the last time they had like a huge splash? Well, that we would consider a huge splash. You know, B. Carr maybe. When they went out and got, he was the
2011?
he was like the number one corner coming out, and that was a huge splash deal. But when's the last time? That's
true. But he said,
yeah,
all chips in the middle.
all chips in the middle. Huh?
So what does that mean for you, Heckman? What do you need to see?
What
does everybody need to see?
The defensive end, I can't remember his name. Maybe like 20.
Greg Hardy?
No. Well, I mean, you assumed that at that point that was going to be a good one.
Yeah.
He came in and had like 10, 11 sacks.
Alden Smith?
No.
Robert Quinn.
Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
Robert
He played
Quinn.
well.
Robert Quinn came in. He did play well. I don't know if that's all in, but I mean, when you go, they went to free agency. They got a guy. He performed.
He played well, huh?
So what does really around? Okay, I'll start.
Started off.
Okay.
What it means to me, go get somebody that can play and get defensive tackle, a difference-making defensive tackle, if one becomes available, because easily somebody could slap franchise tags on guys. So, but I need to see somebody right up front, because I'm not going to sit around here and trust Mozzie Smith. Just not going to do it. And then with Osa Odigizua, good player, But what we've seen from Mike Zimmer in the past, he likes a bigger guy. So they need to get a bigger guy. So D-tackle. Linebacker, we just talked about. We know Zimmer likes bigger guys. You don't have that currently right now. With all due respect to Leighton Vander Esch, if Leighton Vander Esch does not play another snap in the National Football League, it'll be fine by me because I'm more concerned about this man's health. He just had a daughter. You guys all understand and know and seen how these things, how people's bodies go over time. And Heckman, you've had a front row seat to see the greatest football players in NFL history because of your uncle and seen how they have grown over time. And you've seen what happens to their bodies, okay? Nobody leaves this game without some injuries here. So that's why I would look to replace Leighton Vander Esch. But linebacker spot, all in to me means you need to figure out your center position. I don't say anything negative about Tyler Biadasz as a player, but he's a free agent. And Tyler Biadasz is like any Cowboy here. Anybody becomes a free agent, you want to get paid your maximum dollars. He's had a good career here.
Pro Bowl.
But when you start looking at the amount of dollars that you're going to have to spend, I would think the Cowboys would be better served to go and find his replacement via free agency or most likely draft, and then I need to see the running game get better. Mike McCarthy would like Tony Pollard back. If you want Tony Pollard back, fine. Find me who else is going to go along with Tony Pollard. It has to be a tandem. You need a bigger guy, somebody that can punch it in from 5 yards out. To me, that's all in.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that, as far as, being all in. To me, being all in means, not running it back with the same crew like you have just won a Super Bowl. Those guys who won the Super Bowl, hey, let's run it back. We're going to do it again. You didn't have success in the playoffs with the same crew. And I'm not talking about, churning the bottom of the roster. We see that all the time, getting new pieces at the bottom. I'm talking about at the core. At the core, switching some things up. Relying on the same crew that hasn't been as productive as we maybe wanted him to have been, these past couple seasons. Maybe there needs to be a change. And if, like you said, if you want Tony Pollard back, that's great. But we understand he's great at that number 2 role. Bring in somebody that can be that number 1, that guy that can pound the defense and open things up for Tony Pollard. I want a guy in the middle of the defense like a big, Linval Joseph type guy that can eat up the gaps, not necessarily get pressure on the quarterback, but keep these offensive linemen off your second level. Like a linebacker that you don't have to take off the field, no matter what the situation is, whether it's first and second down running or it's a third down passing coverage situation. And I understand those things cost bread. And those things, there's cap space, and I understand all that. But when it's talking about all in, to me, running it back with the same crew and expecting different results is kind of like the definition of insanity. And I just want to see, changes be made to hopefully get this team over the hump. Is it guaranteed that they will get over the hump making these changes? No. But what's also kind of guaranteed is running it back with the same type of crew and expecting different changes. That's just not going to happen.
No, and I agree with both takes. And I think that for me, it's you don't have the same cliche, oh, we're just one guy away. No, you're several guys away.
That's fine.
And it's several guys away at key spots that you really underestimated playing with smaller size linebackers, and that's why that's important. You also underestimated trying to flex defensive linemen, and you got blindsided by that. Look, to me, the 2 positions that I'm looking at specifically offensively, and I'm thinking only of the Green Bay game, is the running back position and a wide receiver. I'm just saying the second wide receiver. You need another playmaker at the wide receiver spot. You need a guy that can be that possession receiver for you, not a guy take the top off and all that old crazy stuff. I need a guy that when it's 3rd and 7, I can run a slant, I can run something. I know you can catch the ball. It's yards after catch. You look at you look at teams all around the NFL that have more than just one wide receiver, one guy. Okay, running back wise, you can go back through the season and see that if we had a power back, that would have been the difference in that Miami game. If we had a power back and when Green Bay is running off, if we can run the ball, slow it down, make them wait to get the ball back because they're scoring every time they get the ball. But we didn't have that. We're still having to try and get things over in the air. Look, going all in to me is making sure your salary cap is healthy, get guys re-signed that you know that you're definitely going to need, but bring in the key pieces. Don't fool yourself again into thinking that, we can go with this same running back group, and then, like you said, by definition of insanity, think that that's going to work this year because it's not.
Yes, I appreciate all y'all's takes. Okay, all in to me is what I saw the Rams do a few years ago. Like that is all in. Hey man, what we pushing all our chips in the table right now. We're not really worried about how it's going to play out for us over the next couple of years because it's worth going to the Super Bowl and winning one. To me, that is all in. So they were trading first round draft picks. They were bringing in Jalen Ramsey, whoever it is, Von Miller. Like they were doing a bunch of stuff that you looked at that team and you said, oh yeah, they wagering it all right now. Like you could see it, and I think that's what all in means. Do I think we need to do that? It makes me a little nervous to do such a thing, but I think for me it starts with all in. You know your defensive line is an issue. Your interior defensive line has been that way for a while. I think you should make a big splash at that position. And linebacker, same thing.
And that's and this ain't all on what's his name, Hankins. This ain't all on him. I'm not saying it is, but once again, when I talk about bringing the same crew back, as soon as the hospital, man, we got to sign him back. He's got to be, one of our number one. I mean, this is the same man that he was a part of this defense that was giving up 266 yards on the ground. Like, I'm not saying it's all on him as far as, the run. But
he was there.
But he was there. And we're acting like, man, we beating the table to bring, a guy back like that.
Now, I'll go on this level about Hankins. I think he's a player who can help you and be a part of a team that can do something deep. Just playing him too much. At his age, you're playing him too much. I think he'd be a part of a rotation, but you out here leaning on this dude like, hey man, we need no, that's not it. Right. But if you brought another biggin in here and he's on that, okay, that's fine. And then maybe our boy Neville Gallimore's not there. But that's what I'm thinking. But is there a role for Hank? Sure, I think there's a role. But the starting role, you being that guy, we leaning on you biggin? Nah.
But that's why you draft Mozzie. That's why you draft him, and you expect for him to be in that rotation. I mean, it's the truth. It's just you have to rely on him because of those. Come on, Danny.
His role, Hankins' role should be when you are playing against a team like Green Bay or one of those teams who comes in and they say we are going to establish the run on you. That's when you say, hey big fella. You got about 80% of the snaps, all right? And then we also just brought another guy in who can also handle 80% of those snaps or less because y'all showed that y'all can stop the run and now they have to go to another dynamic of their offense. But I think you need to make a big splash there. It is one glaring weakness that has been here
3 years.
for 3 years. It ain't going nowhere.
And everybody's game playing that, and then you go in the playoffs. Go right there, run through them. So yes.
So you need to do it, and then linebacker. I think the big two splashes that you need to make to be successful are defensive line and linebacker. Can you make it through with Tony Pollard? I think you can. Yeah. I think you can make it through with Tony Pollard. Can you make it through with the center? I know Cap and all that. I'm just talking about the player. I think you can make it through with that. I don't think you can make it through a season with the interior defensive line you have right now and the linebacker.
Front seven, got to address front seven defensively. Okay, let's get a break in here. A move we've been talking about right here on the Players Lounge for weeks is now caught up nationally. Finally, they understand what we're trying to tell them.
All time.
Hey, the church, that's how movement starts. Yeah, it is. Start small.
That's how rumors start.
I don't know if there's no rumor. I think this might have a whole lot of gas to it. We'll tell you exactly what that is right here on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Tostitos on DallasCowboys.com radio.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. #Be your own boss.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie Bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to the Players Lounge.
The CONCACAF Nations League finals are coming to AT&T Stadium. Don't miss your chance to watch North America's best soccer teams battle it out in the semifinals on March 21st, a real one's birthday. Then see who lifts the trophy in the championship on March 24th. Tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium.
March 21st?
Yes,
you didn't
sir.
make that Pisces cut off, huh? What are you?
I'm in
You
between.
on the cusp?
Yeah.
Which one do you claim? What set you claim?
Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff Dragons.
Yeah, all day long. All day long. Yes, sir.
That gonna come top.
They are not the dragon. I think they would trademark that thing, copyright the whole dragon thing. All right, Players Lounge brought to you by Tostitos, Barry Church, Heck Harris, Danny McCray. Scruggs. So we're talking about the Cowboys and all in. Every year, your team must change. There will be some additions and subtractions, and the team is going to come down and start to say, "Hey, salary cap number, yes, we want to make something go away." Michael Gallup, we've talked about it right here on the Players Lounge, a wide receiver that they paid a couple of years ago, despite having the torn ACL, and they moved on from Amari Cooper. He's not been that player that they thought he was going to be. And Brandon Cooks came in securely, became the number 2 wide receiver for the team. So now you're paying Michael Gallup a $13 million range to be a number 3 wide receiver, and then you've drafted Jalen Tolbert, a third-round guy, now going to his 3rd season. Last year, he drastically improved from his rookie year. So nationally, the stories are all picking up as they're starting to figure out and say, well, who's somebody that you could go ahead and move on from and get their money to put towards Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and wherever other needs you have. Michael Gallup's the guy. We spoke about it on this show before here. I just don't see how you bring Michael Gallup back, and I mean it from the standpoint of the return on investment.
Yeah.
It's too much money for a guy that's not a number 2 wide receiver. I don't care what team you're on, nobody's going to pay that. So I would not be surprised that if they move on from Michael Gallup.
Yeah, listen, when you look at going all in, all right, and you start, again, listing players who – hey, can we be successful without this person? Based off what happened last year, I think Michael Gallup is one of those guys. He made some big catches and some big moments, but as far as being consistent over the year and looking at a guy who you say, does this constitute going all in by not using that money to go get another player who we said maybe defensive line or linebacker? I don't think that constitutes all in. So I can see why that conversation is catching some steam.
I love the return on investment because you didn't get it, all right, and the injury sidelined, all of that. And man, I just give appreciation for Michael Gallup and what he did. I mean, coming out of Colorado State, I believe, where he was drafted, he exceeded expectations. He came in and he balled out. Him and Amari Cooper were 2,000-yard receivers that you had in a season, and then after that, he didn't give you the production that you would have liked over the last couple of years, and you can't pay a guy that much, as you stated, especially when those funds can be allocated towards other positions. So that's why I was talking about free agency and saying, look, you got to get a guy. When it got to the point that defenses figured out the way that Mike McCarthy wanted to use Brandon Cooks, they shut that down. When they understood what were the best routes for CeeDee Lamb, they shut that down. You didn't have another piece besides your tight end. And then, and again, how easy is that to cover when you can put a nickel on that guy? He was not able to win his individual matchup, and that's why you say, look, we've got to get a guy to come in here. I don't know if Jalen Tolbert is that. I don't. In 3 years, I don't think we figured that out yet. I don't think we have a definitive answer if we think that he can be that playmaking guy. And because there's still a question mark over that, I don't feel comfortable with going into this season with him as being my third option in this offense.
Yeah, and you guys are right about that when you look at it. Because last year, if you really break it down, it was CeeDee Lamb, Cooks, Ferguson, the tight end. Yep. And Tolbert and Gallup were like right there. So he's really kind of the fourth or fifth option, meaning that he's going against probably the worst corner on the opposite, team. You're guarding him, and he wasn't able to win those one-on-one battles consistently. Yeah, he had, those deep balls, those 50-50 balls every now and then he was able to bring them in, but to get that type of money, and we always talk about it, once you get the bag, the expectations of your play, they rise. You should be able to go out there and dominate your one-on-one opportunities, and he just wasn't able to do that. Whether it was, getting separation, whatever the case may be, Dak not trusting him with the rock, whatever the case may be, he wasn't able to perform on that note that he's, carrying with the Dallas Cowboys. So when you talk about, cap casualties and guys that are going to maybe get released because their cap hit is too high, I feel like Gallup, falls in that range.
Is it fair to say when you're making that amount of money that nobody should be mentioning other receivers being in the 3 or 4? Like you shouldn't be talking about Turpin, you shouldn't be talking about Tolbert. You should be like, hey, we need to find a way to get this guy more looks versus the opposite. So, but once again, shout out to Michael Gallup. The injury was a setback, and sometimes it just don't work out when you come off of that injury. I still think he's a good player, but when you talk about the amount of money that you would have to spend to keep him on the roster, I think that's the question that comes.
I could see the Cowboys moving on from Michael Gallup and him going to another team at a lower price and having a real good year and being a good football player. I just totally disagreed with how they went about it from the standpoint of, I remember sitting in the press box, and won't name these two media people. We spent the whole season arguing about Cooper and Gallup, like who would be back next year. And they were all about Gallup. I'm like, no, Cooper. Cooper has been A1. Cooper saved the season when they got the guy. Basically. The problem with Cooper was they didn't immediately sign him to a deal when they traded for him. And then they let him get to free agency, and you had to pay that crazy number. They should have taken care of that business before. And obviously we know it got a little personal.
It did.
But why would I give a guy who just had an ACL in January all that money and then, he's not going to be that guy in year one? I just thought I never got it. I never, ever got it. And so you move on from him. I understand Tolbert because Tolbert, time, proof, and consistency. He has not shown us that he can be trusted. But I think this is also the part where you as a football team say to yourself, okay, if I've got Lamb back, I've got Cooks, I've got Tolbert, then you could look to the draft or you could look to find who's another receiver for whatever reason is out there in free agency that we think we can plug in here and they could fit and be a part of the process at a good price. That's going back and trying to figure out how, Bill Belichick with Tom Brady was very good at figuring out who to was Brandon LaFell, Chris Hogan, Danny Amendola, all throughout that tenure. Mm-hmm. And obviously Tom made a lot of them dudes look good, but they found people who can you fit into our system and do what we do? This is where I would go to a guy like Schottenheimer. Who is it that you know? Because Seattle through the years could find some guys. Yes. They've got 3 elite guys now that I really like, but they could find some guys that could work with Russell during that time. And I think that's the challenge for Will McClay. And I think Will through the years has been able to do well at that. But, dude, you shake a tree, you're going to find some receivers. Mm-hmm. Kansas City's shown us, and granted, Kansas City's
that's exactly right. That's why you can't use them as the model.
But can you at least figure out the concepts of what we want you to do? This is the challenge of being a personnel person.
And you went to Tom.
Yeah.
You went to Tom, and Hall of Fame. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference in that. And when I look at a number 2 receiver, I look at guys like Brandon Ayuk. I look at T. Higgins, guys like that are playing behind a bona fide number 1 guy, but the production is there.
But they're first and second.
But no.
Well, you can go to Puka. How you find a guy like that in the draft?
I mean. A guy that if you shut down that first option, you're definitely not going to be able to shut down the second option. And NFL teams are looking for that. The Houston Texans, they get Tank Dell. A guy like, that was huge. I mean, you get a guy like that can come right off the plane and have the production that he has. The Cowboys just haven't been able to put that piece in. And I have nothing against Brandon Cooks, okay? But I'm just saying, bro, come on now. Let's get.
No. I got no.
Don't do me like that.
Now with Cooks, the second half of the year.
Yeah, he got
second half of the year,
touchdowns.
I thought he came around. Now, and this is just my small little take. They figured it out the second half of the year, and then they also figured out CeeDee Lamb. So it took them a minute to figure out how to get this thing going. What if year 2 is even better? Because Cooks' resume says, you do right by me, I'll get you 1,000. And I don't know how right we know this. The first part of the year, they weren't getting right by CeeDee Lamb. And then the second half of the year, doesn't say figured out, and we once again.
He wasn't getting a target.
Right. Once on this show, we started complaining. You start giving him the ball, and the production was there. So, I mean, what could they do in year 2? But at some point in time, you're going to have, if you're bringing him back, you're going to have to, hey, man, we need you to give us some more. But that also comes upon McCarthy to get the man some targets.
A perfect example. And they've done this in the past. We were there. Laurent Robinson came in, found him right off the streets, came in, guy balled out unbelievably as a number 2 receiver. I think he had, 11 touchdowns? Him and Dez going crazy. That's the type of production, you would like to have from a number 2 receiver that consistently, if you give me one-on-ones, I'm going to make you pay. Yeah. And then if you decide, all right, we're just going to cover both guys one-on-one, then Dez went off. I mean, that's what we need as far as a number 2 receiver that can come in here and consistently beat that man-to-man coverage. Because that's what teams are going to do. They're going to double CD. They'll let Ferg get his little 5-yard outs in there, here and there. And they're saying, we're going to make, Gallup and Tolbert beat us. And they weren't able to do that as far as the passing game is concerned.
Yeah, a playmaker.
A playmaker. As simple as that.
A playmaker. Big difference.
Now, granted, Romo was in his bag that year.
Romo had Laurent Robinson, T. Will.
T. Will.
You forget about T. Will.
I forgot about that.
They don't mention him as a number 2.
Sideline. Hey.
T. Will. I forgot T. Will was nice. Wow.
Going back to 2013, Terrence Williams, 4th-round pick at receiver. 2014, Devin Street, 5th-round pick at wide receiver. Going to the 2017 draft, 4th-round pick Ryan Switzer, wide receiver.
That didn't work.
2018, 3rd-round pick Michael Gallup, wide receiver.
That worked.
2020 CeeDee Lamb, 1st-round pick wide receiver. And 2022, 3rd-round pick Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver. And then Jalen Brooks last year, 7th-rounder at wide receiver. So we're seeing a mixed bag at it. So... And even in free agency, we've seen a mixed bag, which I guess would probably make for most of the National Football League, right? When you talk about just a mixed bag or something. But this is another case of let's see how it goes. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to just sit around here and see exactly what they do and can they find the right guy because their quarterbacks will be making $50 million next year.
Man, that's what I was just about to say. Where is Dak? Can we get an APB on Dak Prescott? Can we get a word from our leader?
The leader is expecting to be a father, so
no doubt.
But that's supposed to be happening soon. So like this month around this time.
Did you see Kyle Yeomans? Kyle Yeomans just had 3 babies. Triplets. And I called a game with him just 2 days ago. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's just here.
Trying to get some.
Get out of the house. Sometimes you got to get it.
I'll be back, man.
That man understand he's going to be having to buy 3 diapers.
Exactly.
3 bags of diapers. That man is going to have a Costco, Sam's, or whatever card wholesaling it. So, that man out there trying to get that
donate Pampers to Kyle Yeomans, man.
Yes. But his kids are in the NICU right now. So he's waiting. They're going to be there for a little bit. But man, three kids, man. So congratulations to him. I just teased him. I said, hey man, we're number 4. We're number 4.
What he said?
You might have number 6.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. Going for 4, I might come up with 6.
I said, I think 5, but I don't think you'll do 3 again. You might roll it. You might roll it.
There's the last person who had 6. Nah, you all right. You all right.
Famous last words. You gonna be all right?
Totally against you.
Where would Nui be when you need a babysitter?
Unavailable.
So you know how that goes.
Unavailable. I got my own. I'm trying. As Parcells, he said, I'm trying to get my own house and burn it down.
Unbelievable.
Barry Church,
yes,
thank
sir.
you. Heckman Harrison,
Yes,
thank you. Danny McCray, thank you. I'm Nui Scruggs. Chris Beam, Joshy, Jazz, everybody's been a part of the Players Lounge brought to you by Tostitos. Thank you. We'll catch you next Monday right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?